Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Islam, it is not defined by your culture. Islam, it is defined by the sunnat of the Prophet ﷺ, by his lifestyle and the lifestyle of those who follow him and the lifestyle of those who follow him. Do you understand? This is now a very delicate point, because on the one hand you have people who say this is our culture and this is Islam, is our religion. Our culture is not Arab, so we don't want to wear anything Arabic. We don't want to wear any Arabic clothes. We don't want to wear a turban or a thawb or do anything Arabic because our religion is Islam. It is not Arabic. That extreme position is wrong. Then there's another position that says, I'm Muslim, my religion is Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ, he is an Arab, so everything Arabic is superior and it is good, and everything else that is not Arabic, it is inferior and it is bad. That is another extreme position belonging to Shaitan. Then there is another position where people are saying, my religion is Islam. I have culture from my forefathers, the culture that they took and they adapt according to Islam. And I don't like this, and I want something that is Arabic, 100% pure. You can go that way too. But you know what you do when you do that? You are not following those who follow those, who follow those, who follow those, who follow those who follow the Prophet. You are following the Prophet, cutting off all that protocol that the Prophet ﷺ says. What? Those who follow my sunnat and the sunnat of my sahabis. Implicit in that is the sunnat of my sahabis and sunnat of the tabi'in who follow the sahabis. Because you don't know the tabi'in, you don't know the sahabis. The tabi'in knows the sahabis. You don't know the sahabis, you don't know the tabi'ins, because the tabi'in knows the tabi'in who knows the Prophet. You cannot claim that you know, that you are closer to the culture and to the thinking of the Prophet ﷺ living in these times without following those ones who have been holding on to that tradition for 1400 years. You understand? That being said, now we are following the sunnat of the Prophet ﷺ. And we are following those who are following the sunnah of the Prophet. We are not making things up. There is, if you view religion very differently, if you are Indian, subcontinent people, you view Islam differently. If you are from the Southeast Asia, you view Islam differently. If you are from Europe, you view Islam differently. So there are different Islams now. There's one Islam. One Khalifa of the Prophet. One Khalifa. And if you have that Khalifa, you're able to now unite all these differences. The one who is following Islam in China, now they're following those who brought Islam to China. You understand? Those who brought Islam to China, they looked at the nature, they look at the culture, they look at the spirit of the people in China. And while they took the principles of Islam and they brought it to China, they are not now imposing, I want to use the word imperialist. They are not imposing colonialist, can we say? They're not imposing cultural chauvinism. Okay? They're not saying that, okay, I'm Arab, I brought Islam to China. Now everyone, Muslim, if you want to be Muslim, everyone has to be Arabic. No. He didn't. Now those who brought Islam to China, they teach the religion. They teach what is Sunnat. And the Sunnat, it is merciful enough now to include so many principles that is in different cultures that is also under the umbrella. For example, the Sunnat way, tying a turban. You're tying a turban, there is a Sunnat way. There is an unbeliever way of tying a turban. You cannot do that. But now, there is a tying a turban, maybe in India, you're tying a turban, you are following Islam and following tariqats specific to that area, you tie a turban a little bit differently. Now, if you're living in China, they tie the turban a little bit differently. If you are living in, say, in Southeast Asia, it's very hot, they still tie a turban, but they use maybe cotton. In different areas, it's cold, they still tie a turban, but maybe they use a thicker fabric. I'm giving you a very, very simple understanding of that. So while the principles are the same, the form may change a little bit. And the highest expression of Islamic civilization is with the Osmanlis, is with the Ottomans. Because now the Ottomans, they're able to preserve everyone's cultural identity according to Islam without saying Turks are number one, Pakistanis are number two. Because now the Ottoman Empire, it is not a Turkish empire, it is an Islamic empire. It is the empire of Tasawwuf, it is an empire of the Prophet. And it is true, the Ahlul Turk, they are the ones who are holding it high, but they did not make the religion to become cultural chauvinism. Again, what's a simpler word to use? Cultural chauvinism? To say that my culture is the most superior. Everyone is low class. They could have done that. They could have said, everyone now follow the Turkish way of the religion. They did not. They could say, everyone now learn Turkish and forget about your language. They did not, because that is not what the Prophet ﷺ brought. So, Alhamdulillah, if you are relating more to the Ottoman way, it is good. Adapt to the Sunnah, inshallah. There are some cultures, definitely, there are certain secrets that are given to them and they're able to hold the religion and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ higher than others in some areas. There are some other cultures, they're holding it higher, but not so good in different areas. So all the different cultures, they come and they meet and they learn from each other. And they make their religion now to become high, and they make their civilization now to become high. So if you follow the Osmanlis, if you want to follow our Seyh. If you want to follow our Seyh, there's so many other Osmanlis around also, claiming that they are. It's okay. You may follow them. Use your intelligence and find out. Assalamu alaikum.